Hey guys, hey! It is the last day of Witchcraft and Woo Woo week, and what an amazing week it has been, right? Let me know if you guys have loved it as much as I've loved hosting it, because I've had a whole bunch of fun this past week. So, just to recap, on Tuesday, we did Witchcraft and Woo Woo fundamentals, right? So we learned just some basic fundamentals about the witchcraft aspect and the woo woo aspect and how they marry together and how you have to kind of work with them both together to be able to manifest exactly what it is that you want with grace, ease, and flow. And then we did our Wednesday, we did our money energy clearing and casting for coins, which has been amazing. There have been so many people that have gotten a hold of me from there and said, oh my gosh, this came about. We had somebody the next day, I the next day got a refund on an amount I wasn't expecting. And we had one of the women that was with us find $5. Then we had somebody else, I think there's been 2 or 3 other ones that have been added in. And I just got another one before I popped on here to say that they got something completely unexpected in gift cards and cash availability to them. And I will post that when we're done with this video. So the thing that hello Leela. So the thing that I want to make sure that you understand is when you're doing energy work, the energy transcends time and space. So if you're watching one of my replays, you can still take advantage of the full benefit of the energy cleansing or clearing, and you will see results from it, right? Or working the casting along with me during the video, because it's still going to bring that energy into your life. The one that I posted earlier today, they had watched the replay and the following morning had gotten an amazing amount back to them. And then this afternoon, I went out and got the mail and I posted it and I opened it up and there was a check in there for a refund from something, or from a payout from something that I don't even recall signing up for, being a part of, or anything. It was like $7.92. But you know what? Those little amounts add up. That's, lunch somewhere, maybe, depending on where you live. But the little amounts add up, but it shows that the energy flow, the current of currency is still flowing to you, which means that energy is moving cleanly through you because you have no obstacles. Why? Because we removed them. Okay, so that was amazing. I love seeing the results like that so fast, because they do happen like that. And then yesterday we did meet your animal guide, and that left us with messages from spirit, from our guide, from what we need to know, and also allowed us to be in a place where, or to create a place where we can go back into to be able to connect with those animal energies at any time. So that was amazing. So I've had a blast doing that. Excuse the background noise. You guys know every time I start talking, my birds are going to start going crazy. So I can't help that. It is a gorgeous, like 70 some degrees outside right now. Like I was just outside with the dogs before I popped on here, and it is warm out there. Like sun in your face, sunglasses on, sit and enjoy the afternoon warm. So I hope the weather's nice where you're at. We had an amazing storm that came through early this morning. And I always love storms. So when I woke up to it, I was like, oh, I just sit back and listen to the rain hit the windows, right? So today is the last day that you're able to join the Sister Circle membership if you're looking into doing that. I encourage you to do that before the doors close at 10 p.m. Central Time, my time tonight, because they will not open again for a period of time. This is the first time in, I think, 8 months, almost a year, that they've been open to new members. So make sure that you get in there, because we do energy clearings every month. I raise everyone up to a vibration that allows those obstacles and blockages to be removed. We do classes every week. We do full moon and new moon gatherings. and lots of other great stuff. So I hope to see you in there if you're interested in working with me more and being supported by an amazing community of witchy ladies. You don't have to consider yourself a witch. You can just be the woo-woo. That's fine too. So today I'm going to talk about the art of spell writing. And I said before, and I just said a little bit ago, that the magical aspect has to merge with the mundane aspect that also has to have a supporting backing, if you will, of the woo-woo aspect, right? So you have to be in alignment. You have to be able to be on that available frequency to achieve and receive what it is that you're asking for. Your intent is the major part of everything, right? Everybody knows it. It's your intention. You are the magic. Hello, Tina. Now you get to watch my live. Thanks for popping in. So the intent and the energy that you're able to raise just as yourself is enough to cast any spell and to fish for any intention that you're looking for the universe to fulfill for you, right? We have the tools because, and by tools I mean the candles, the incense, the wands, the athames, the whatever it is that you're using, because it turns us into that magical mindset, right? It flips that switch from, okay, I'm just doing my everyday washing my dishes and doing laundry, and now I'm stepping into a magical space. And those things help us do that. But you don't have to have those things. And after you've practiced for a period of time, you're going to find that it's not a necessity that you need to have those to get into your magical mindset, right? To step up and be that most powerful witch in that moment. But it's something that is an added experience for you during the casting. Okay, so that's why I wanted to, and we go over the different tools, the herbs, the oils, the crystals that are available in the membership as well, so that you can learn what those traditional uses are for, the energies that they have. But again, when you're using tools or ingredients, you always have to make sure that you are resonating whatever energy that you want to use that ingredient for. What an amethyst means to me may not be the same as what an amethyst means to you. So you need to make sure that you're using your ingredients in what resonates for you on an emotional and energetic level, right? So aside from the tools, knowing that you, right, are the most magical ingredient, the most powerful ingredient, and that's why you need to learn to be the most powerful ingredient you can be through your practice and experience and sharing. But we all know now that magic is intention plus action. Intention plus action equals magic. That's the formula. That's as simple as it is. And we're talking about witchcraft being completely secular or pulled away from any religious or aspect or belief system, right? Witchcraft is simply a practice. It's an action that you do. It has nothing to do with any belief system that you have. You take that action and you move it into and fit it into the belief system or the religion that you hold dear to you. Okay? So I want to just make that clear again. That is a completely different action as compared to a religion or a belief system. So no matter what your system is, if it's gods or goddesses or just universe, one source, all, whatever it is that you use in that for that word, you'll be able to use the information that you receive from me anyways and fit it in. So the action part, you have the intention. You know what you want to, forgot a question, but I'll go back to that. Squirrel syndrome. You know what you are casting for. You know what you want, right? So you have to become clear, of course, in what you want. Let's talk about that first. You have to become clear in what you want in your intention. And here's the thing is you can, I'm just trying to make sure my papers don't fly away here. You can be as specific as you like, but that doesn't mean that your spell is going to be more powerful that way and bring you that exact thing that you'd like. And here's the reasoning behind that. if you think of all the cars going down the highway, right? And this is your energetic flow of whatever you want it to be, right? That's your energetic flow. All these cars going down the highway. And you say, well, I want to get to, you're calling one of these cars, right? This energy flow to park in the Kmart parking lot. Are there even Kmarts anymore? I don't know. But to park in the store parking lot. And to get to the store parking lot, magic can flow to a path of least resistance. So magic knows a shortcut to get to the parking lot, right? To get you what you want. But when you make it so specific, what you're doing is you're sending absolute directions that magic cannot divert from to be able to get to the destination you want it to go to, or what your objective is for your spell casting. That means that even though magic knows, or the energy knows, that this is going to be much faster to get it to you, and to have this happen and then let that happen is going to make it 3 times faster than the directions that you gave it, what you're doing is bottlenecking your magical energy flow. Does that make sense? Give me a 1 if that makes sense to you. So you need to be specific in your intent, your intention, what you want, but you need to be able to leave it a little broad and back off just a little bit, because universe, God, spirit, all one, whatever you call it, source, magic, the energy, it knows the best way to get to you. And your team is going to help move that energy towards you in the path of least resistance, which means it's going to get to you fastest when you leave it up to universe. You have to leave it up to universe to know that it knows how to get you your intention, how to get what you want to achieve or receive to you, or to get you onto the path to be able to intersect with whatever it is that you want to achieve and receive. So there's a little bit, this is why we call it practice, right? There's a little bit of tweaking sometimes that we do in the beginning when we're spell casting to go, okay, this is what I want, and I want it by this date, and I want this amount, or I want him to have blue eyes, or I want him to be, you know, this weight, or whatever it is. And that just stagnates everything. It slows it down, because universe knows how to bring it to you the absolute fastest way. And it also knows what's best for you in the moment. So what you're asking for in the long run or in the big picture may not actually be what's best for you. Wants and needs are 2 totally different things, right? I think we all know that. But so universe knows. You have to understand and accept that universe knows, and your team is not going to lead you astray in what universe delivers to you. Okay? So keeping so focused. So we need to, when we cast, we need to be able to give a little bit of room, right? So how can you do that? Well, when you can be specific and say, I would love to have whatever you're casting for, you know, like I know that I want to be, you know, in a new job by the summer, you know, I would love to be in a new job by the summer. And then add in whatever that job may be, right? So you're not, universe now knows you want new employment, and you're not being restrictive of going, oh man, I want that job that is at that advertising agency, like that is the perfect job for me. It may be the perfect job for you, and that may be exactly what you get, but it may also be just a stepping stone to a different position that is perfect for you, right? Or it may be that there's a connection in that job to bring you to some other job that's more perfect for you. You didn't even realize it was that much more perfect for you. Does that make sense? So we leave it a little open-ended to allow magic to flow to us the fastest and the easiest way to get to us. That means that's the minimal amount of effort that we have to put in as well in our mundane actions when it's being supported by an open-ended, okay? But again, you don't want to make it too broad, okay? So it's kind of a give and take kind of thing, and we go, again, more into that and how do we decide what to do in our classes in the sister circle. So the next thing that I want to talk about before I get into the actual structure, because I'm going to keep it about 45 minutes today, hopefully, or less on this. So the next thing is not to be so focused on the outcome. That makes it difficult, right? So when we are so super focused on the outcome of what we want, it blocks all the other possibilities. Kind of like just what I just said. You need to leave it a little more open-ended, right? There may be a different possibility that is much better suited for you in that time and place. And you have to accept that universe and team knows best for you. That's the hardest part, I think, about magic. Seriously. It's not the casting. It's not figuring out what lunar cycle and what day and, you know, all that other kind of stuff. It's being clear energetically, right? It's being clear, being on that frequency, being at that vibrational level, raising that energy up, casting out your intention through your action being the spell itself. What do you do to cast it out? That's your action, right? And then allowing the universe to take it and bring it to you. That last part is the hardest part because we want what we want so badly sometimes, right? Like, oh my gosh, I want that car. Oh my gosh, I want that car. I know it's only going to be on the lot for a month and I want that car, right? And then you become so focused that magic isn't allowed to divert you to the car that is the exact same car on a different lot that happens to be $3,000 less or something like that, right? It blocks you from all the other different possibilities and outcomes that could maybe be much better for you. If you think of it another way, like jumping off a cliff, right? Like, you know that you want to get down there. You know that you want to, you're standing on a cliff and you know where you want to be is down at the bottom of the ravine. Like, you want to get up down there. Like, that's where I want to be. But how are you going to get there? Like, worrying about the how. And if you just take the leap and know that an angel maybe is going to come down and swoop you up and bring you gently down, right? That's giving it up to universe. Hello, Stephanie. It is beautiful outside. Yes. So you have to forget about the how when you're casting. That's the major thing. Forget about the how. Leave it up to universe to bring you exactly what you need. Make sense? That's the hardest part. Seriously. So let's go back now to intention. You have your intention. You know what you want. Plus action equals magic. Your action part. What is that going to be? That's your spell casting. Spell casting can be done in so many different ways. You can have just a meditation that you do. You can have sex magic that you do. You can do incantations. You can do candle magic. You can do scry magic. There are so many, everything is magic, right? The action that you do, whatever you decide to do, that is your spell cast. Whatever feels good for you. If you're able to just sit back and meditate and know that your energy is raised and send out that energy, that's spell casting. So there's so many different ways that it can be done. You can write poems, you can use incantations, you can use songs, you can use symbols and sigils. There's a lot of different ways to actually work on the action portion of it. The structure of a spell, however, if you're doing a written spell, the structure of the spell, there are a couple things that I would invite you to keep in mind. One is that, again, the major thing is that we ask for what we want, but leave it a little bit open, right? Leave a little wiggle room for magic to kind of work its way into whatever nooks and crannies and, you know, tributes that it needs to off of the mainstream to be able to bring you what you're casting for, right? So that's one of the things. The second is not to use, and I just used one, not to use negative words. universal language does not know the difference between positive and negative words. It is simply going to give you what you ask for. Okay, it's going to drop the negative words basically. So if you're asking again, let's go back to the car, and I want that green car, I want that green car, I want that green car. I don't want the blue one. I don't want the blue one. I don't want the blue car. I want the green car. I don't want the blue car. I want the green car. I do not want the blue car. Your focus has been put on what you don't want. Universe has give you that damn blue car because that's what it thinks you're asking for, because that's what you've put your focus on. It doesn't matter that you put in the don't want, right? It's dropped that. Your focus is on the negative aspect or the negative outcome, let's call it that, of getting the blue car rather than the green car. That's where your focus was. So that's what universe gave you. Now you're stuck with the blue car that you don't want, right? So we're going to try not to use negative terms. So some people, and we did a whole discussion on the different colors of magic, right? And how that does not exist. So let's say that you are needing a coworker who's being a pain in the bootay to leave, right? You want them out of your life. You want them out of the office. Like, this person has got to go. Just a troublemaker all around, blah, 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 whatever the reason, you want them gone. You can work your magic. You can work a spell cast. Excuse the noise in the background. You can work your spell cast to banish that person, to get rid of them. Tia, shush. Sorry. To banish that person. Hold on. Okay, we'll see if that helps. To banish that person or to get rid of that person, right? You can work that magic of I don't want them here. All that. But that puts a focus on them and may actually draw them in stronger into the situation. Or you can use your magic to abundantly bless that person. I abundantly bless that person with a different position. I abundantly bless that person with a different opportunity. I abundantly bless that person with a different path that'll bring them to prosperity, right? You're not sending any negative vibes out whatsoever. You're blessing them. You're giving them more. You're asking universe to bless abundance upon them, which is going to take them out of your office, because when they get a job that has better hours for them, pays better to them, is less travel time to them, whatever it may be, and they go, they're gone. It's win-win, right? Doesn't matter if that person's making $10,000 more a year than you. Feel good that you bless them with that, because it's going to come back to you, right? So the negative aspect tends to be harder to work with than an abundance and a positive aspect. Make sense? Thumbs up or a 1 if that makes sense to you. Okay, so trying not to use the negative words, because when universe hears that, let's say hears that, that is a focus, and what you focus on is what is going to be delivered to you. Okay, so hopefully those two analogies, I'm kind of running out of analogies for the week, but hopefully those made sense to you. Okay, the next thing when it comes to your spell structure is when you're deciding to write something, or however you're going to, the action, right, in the spell, make sure you let your emotion raise up. Emotion is energy. Emotion is raising your vibration, because even if it's what we would consider a negative emotion, right, if it's anger, it still is raising energy that you're going to be able to send out in whatever the spell is. Okay, whatever the intention is. And if it's an anger that's raising, I'm assuming it's something you want to remove from life, right? So let that emotion come into play, because emotion is huge when it comes to magic. It's a backbone of magic, right? For structure, you can use one word if you'd like. If you're writing a spell, right? You can use one word if you'd like, and only that one word. Abracadabra. Well, yeah, that's one long word, right? But that is an action word. right? That is a spell casting word for some people. So it can be one word. It can be just a name. If you're doing a healing spell, right, for one person, it can be just a name, if that's as short as you want it to be. And you can go all the way into long sentences. You can go all the way into poems, right? You can write, I mean, almost songs you can write for your incantations. The other thing is to make sure that when you're writing, you are writing in the present tense. I am, right? I am. I am abundant. Thank you so much for delivering this to me, as if you've already received it. Because again, we are on a linear time frame, right? We know yesterday, today, tomorrow. Universe doesn't follow a linear time frame. Universe transcends time and space. Universal energies transcend time and space. So therefore, when you're talking about in the I am, the present tense, universe is going to deliver and align you for that to be happening for you in your physical present time. Make sense? So using I am. Now, sometimes the spells that we're doing aren't for ourselves, they're for somebody else. And in that case, you would just change to they are, right? Or he is, or she is, or whatever they identify with at the time. So that's just kind of the backbone of spell structure. Spells can be written in all different kinds of ways. Again, you can use one word. You can go into a sentence. You can go into a poem. Poems, if witches like to rhyme things, right? I do it because it's easy. There's a rhythm to it that you can work with, especially if you're doing any kind of movement in your spell casting. But there's a rhythm that you can work with, which helps you remember things. And the rhyming, again, turns it into a song almost, and that helps you remember things. So that's why there tends to be a lot of rhyming. You don't have to rhyme. You do not have to write out a rhyming something for your spell cast. You can just write out your 2 or 3 sentences or one sentence of what it is that you desire and end it with, depending on your belief system, and so it is, and so it will be. I don't like and so it will be because it puts it into a future tense rather than present. So, and so it is the one that I like to personally use. So mote it be is one that you will hear from Wiccans a lot. Anything amen is fine too, however you want to end your spell cast. So it doesn't have to rhyme, but they tend to be fun to write that way, right? And especially when you get into using the music and movement and, like I said, the rhythm, you can really get into chanting, right? Chanting's another big one. Sure, Becky, absolutely. Thanks for joining in. We'll watch you in the replay. So you can write the poems. Just writing out the intentions is, again, just like I said, another one you can do. That is just simply using one word, or maybe just using a sentence. That may be just looking at a candle flame and money flows to me, money flows to me, money flows to me. I am abundant, and so it is. That's a spell right there, right? Nothing rhymed, but you knew exactly what your intention was. And again, leaving it a little open-ended. I personally like to set a minimum like we did with the coin casting, right? We said, let's get at least coins. Let's get at least a quarter, and let's go from there and see what else we can get, right? And everybody has gotten way more than their quarter so far. So that have received at this point so far. So your intention, just stating the intention and repeating it, becomes a chant, right? That then raises energy because you have that continuous motion until you decide to do whatever your final action is. Writing songs or using songs for spell casting can be very powerful as well. So if you're a songwriter, that's great. That kind of leads back into the poems, right? Kind of poems and songwriting, but you can use your own words. You can use songs that are very special to you. Written songs already. You can use lyrics from songs. You can take a lyric from this song and that song that fits well together and use that. You can sing. You can, the lyric, the song, you can have it playing in the background and that be the actual spell casting part. So say if you're doing candle magic, when you go to actually light your flame and sit for the few moments to gaze, you turn your song on, right? And that finishes your intention. So songs are great. Symbols and sigils. I love me some symbols and sigils because they're really easy to use in all different ways. So if you're casting a spell on your home, right? And when you're doing protection in your home, on your home, you're actually casting a spell. It's all magic. The action, your intention is to protect your home. The action is washing your windows and putting sigils on your windows with the spray bottle before you wipe them. That's an action. That equals magic. That means you've cast a spell. That entire, right? Having an intention, having an action equals magic is the encompassment of spell casting. Okay, so symbols and sigils. Symbols and sigils are amazing because they stay very discreet to you. I always suggest that you create your own symbols and sigils for what your universal language is, right? What does it mean to you? Your sigils there was a class that we did, I think it's in the free group, but it's definitely in the sisters membership that goes over how to create a simple sigil by using a grid, a numbers grid, right? So you can do that if you're more artistic and want to expand on it. Sigils can be used on yourself. Like I just said, they can be used on your home to spray them on your windows and doors and things with your cleansing water or your window washing fluid before you wipe it down, right? You can use it on your moisturizer for health symbols and sigils, for love symbols and sigils, for self-love stuff, for weight management stuff, for all different kinds of things, right? You can use your moisturizer to do your sigil on your chest before you rub it in. You can do it with your foundation for beauty or for confidence. You could do that and put your symbol or sigil on with your foundation or moisturizer, whatever, before you rub it in, right? You can use symbols and sigils on your candles. I'm huge into candle magic. I love candle magic. And I think using sigils and symbols and carving into your candle not only helps you get into the moment of the spell casting itself, right? Gives you focus into your intent in what you're doing. But I think they're just a whole lot of fun to do. I mean, who doesn't love to carve into a candle and watch those little things fall away? The little squigglies that come out, all right? So you can use symbols and sigils that way. And I'm sure there is tons more different ways that you can think of. If there's other ways that you can think of that I didn't mention to cast a spell, the action part of casting a spell, put it in comments for me. So the main things, like I said, in the structure is making sure that it fits well with you. Don't try and put yourself into working somebody else's spell if it doesn't feel natural to you and it doesn't feel good to you, right? You need to make sure that it's kind of your own thing. People, again, and I've said this all week long, people like to make witchcraft and spell casting much more complicated and convoluted than it needs to be. It is very, very simple, and you don't need anything, if much at all, to be able to totally raise an immense amount of energy, focus it, and send it out so that universe can bring it to you or so that you can receive it. Again, the number one issue is forgetting about the how. Or not forgetting about, but not worrying about it. It's not your job to figure out the how. It makes no difference how the universe is going to bring it to you. You only have to put it out there and know that universe is bringing it to you. Doesn't matter how. If you're going to want that house, you figure out, I want that house. Don't be so specific as, I want that house, that house, that house, that house, because maybe there's a house in a better neighborhood that's the same price. Right? So you want to leave it a little open. Is it possible you can accidentally make a wrong sigil? No. No. Not if it's something that you're creating yourself. No. Now, there are sigils that you can Google search online and stuff that people will have already pre-made, right? This is my sigil that I made for whatever. One, usually a sigil is something that's very specific and very confidential to you, so that only you know what that sigil means. We're going to go into sigil work. Leela, I know that you're in the Sister Circle membership, and we're going to do a whole class so that we have a whole Q&A that we can do on sigil work again, because there's so many different nuances to it. But if you are creating a sigil yourself, you cannot do it wrong. Can't do it wrong. Because whatever you're creating for the intention that you have in mind in that moment. Okay? If you decide to Google search somebody else's sigil, like sigil for, you know, protection or whatever, and you decide to have that in your book, and then you use that in a love spell, that's going to change things a little bit, because this intention of that sigil has already been created by that person, which one lessens its value to your energetic kind of attributes. So that's why I always suggest that you make your own, even if it's just sitting down and taking the word and writing the single letters over each other. That can be a sigil for you, right? So whatever you need it to be. So letting go of the how, that's the trick to it all. Letting go of the how. The first part of it, of course, being in alignment, right? Being open and able to receive, having that energy kind of flowing and going. And then the other part is forgetting about the how, taking the jump off of the cliff. And I am here, ready, willing, and able to shove you off the cliff so that you absolutely can understand how universe is going to catch you when you fall every single time, right? I'll be happy to shove you off the cliff. So the last thing that I want, so let me know if there's any questions. Any questions about spell writing in general? Again, this was just kind of a general overview, but I think there was some things that are key in there that I just gave you that will help you moving forward in casting and writing your own spells. Doesn't have to be difficult. It doesn't have to be this fluid rhyming kind of thing. It doesn't have to be anything more than one word, and it doesn't even have to have a word if you choose not to. The action part is totally up to you. Whatever is important and organic and easy for you in the moment. And keeping in mind, I'm not even going to go that deep into it. Okay. So the last thing that I want to say about spell casting, and then I'm going to get into a question that I got about yesterday's. The last thing I want to say about spell casting is, and in general, in your energy work, make sure that you are using your energy to believe, not to worry, right? Don't use your energy. Don't spend your energy on worry. You're just wasting it. Use that energy to believe. And again, that's a total trust, right? You're going to trust your guides. You're going to trust your, spirit your spirit team, your angels, your ascended masters, whatever it is, your God, one, universe, all, whatever. Leo says, get an idea of whether do you begin to get an idea of whether your spell writing is on the right track? You'll begin to feel more at ease with it. Yes. You'll begin, once you fall into that, right? Once you carve out what works for you, and that only happens over time, because you're going to cast a spell, you're going to write your spell, you're going to cast your spell, you're going to get some kind of result, which is either going to make you go back and tweak how you write and cast your spell, or it's going to reinforce that what you just did and wrote works. And then you're going to move forward on to the next one. So the more you do it, the more it becomes comfortable and more fluid for you. And once your intuition opens up, the easier it's going to be for you to step in and go, okay, you know what? I need to cast this spell and I just can do it this way real quick, or I need to really take the time to sit down and think this one out and make sure that it's aligned with certain other aspects in, astrology and life or whatever. So does it become much easier for you when you realize you're on the right track. Absolutely. But I think all of magic and witchcraft does as well. So does that answer your question? I'm going to make sure I'm answering the questions. You guys, we went through a lot of information this week. I've had so much fun. I'm so excited about the members that we have, the new members that we have in the Sister Circle membership. I'm super excited to get working with all of you that are in there. Continue working with all of you, but in new, fun, and exciting ways. Okay, so again, don't use your energy to worry. Use it to believe, because you are the absolutely most powerful, magical creator of your life that there ever was, will, and will ever be. So I want to, just one second. My dog. Like, why did you kick me out of my room? Again, this is his room that I'm in, the one that he spends the majority of time in. So when I locked him out when he was barking before, he came back to the door like, what the heck? So I got a question when we were working with, yes, hello. You want to say hello? See, he says hello again. There we go. When we were working with spirit guides, animal guides yesterday, right? Somebody asked me afterwards and sent in a question, which if you guys have questions, by all means, make sure that you tag me or send them to me, because our Monday morning magical meetings that happen on Monday mornings at 11 a.m. Central Time in the group each and every week, those will have a Q&A to them. So I'm adding that because I've been getting more and more questions, which I love. So they asked, how do I know that, or what can I do to allow me to make sure that so that I can be opened up to connection with my guide? How do I know? Like, what can I do, right, to bring that connection about? More interaction with my guide. Not particularly spirit animal, but your general guides and spirit surrounding families as well. So I'm going to give you a couple things. One is that consistency. One is really consistency. So if you're looking to connect, I suggest that you spend just 5 minutes every day working on that connection. How do you do that? The easiest thing to do is to bring yourself back to a kindergarten state and start playing with your imaginary friend. Even though this friend isn't imaginary, you can't really see him or her at this moment, or it if you're working with animals. But taking that 5 minutes a day and just sitting back and asking for the connection and asking what you want to receive information about, you'd be surprised at the more you do that, how much easier it is to connect. And then once you do finally get that actual like validated connection for yourself, when you finally go, yep, that for sure was a guide that came through, that information for sure came from outside of my own head, right? Once you have that connection, you'll never not have it again, and you can begin to work forward from that as well, okay? So the quick answer to it is spending 5 minutes a day working on the connection, being committed to it. The second thing I want to go over is one of the major kind of issues in the beginning is, why are you connecting? What is it that you want from your guide? Why are you connecting? If you are looking for answers from your guide, if you're looking to connect from your guide for something that is a self reason, like I want to know when I'm going to get this job. I want to know if I'm going to get a new house in the summer. I want to know if I'm going to meet the love of my life, when I'm going to meet it, right? Those kind of things where it's, okay, I want to know. Not to say down the road, those aren't things that you can get answers to, but in the beginning, because that was the question, check and see what you're asking, because those answers and messages are harder to receive and understand and acknowledge than the answers that they really love to give you. And the answers that they really love to give you is to the question about how they can help you in your spiritual path. If you ask questions about how they can help you in your spiritual path, they begin to just spew information at you. That's their favorite thing, right? That's their job, is to keep you on your path and to give you guidance and information that will bring you to the places that you're asking to be at. But it's all about that spiritual path. So stop in the beginning asking the questions of when am I going to get this? How am I going to do this? When is this going to be in my life? And move it to how can they help you on your spiritual path? Okay, does that make sense? So that is going to be my second. My third is there's sometimes a little bit of fear that happens. You want the connection with guides. You want to be able to interact with guides and receive messages from spirit and loved ones and whatever your surroundings are. But there's that little bit of fear. Like, what happens if I really see something? Like, I think I might freak out. What happens if I hear something in the middle of the night? Like, I'm going to be terrified, right? So you have that little bit of fear on a subconscious level. And that's something that you just have to work through. And it begins to work through the more that you get this obvious connection in the commitment of, I'm open to receive. And I know that none of the guides and spirits and surroundings, anything, have anything other than goodwill towards me. Okay? So that's the other thing. The last thing that I can say is getting back to, that was my son's truck, getting back to ask them to help you on your spiritual path. What do you need to know? That is the best question to ask. Spend 5 minutes a day, sit back and go, what is it that you want me to know? That's the only question. That's the question they love the most, because it leaves it completely open-ended into any area and aspect of your life, including that spiritual movement. That is their job to support you in. So that, oh my goodness. I'm sorry. So that, it's okay. It's okay. So that would be my suggestion. That would be my suggestion in trying to connect more and easier and more fluidly, and to get that acknowledgement from your own self that you have connection. Okay? So thank you for the question. Sorry about the dog barking. Thank you for the question. And again, if you guys have other questions, general questions, specific questions, whatever it is, make sure that you either message them to me, either on my profile or business page is fine, or you can submit them through email to me, and I will start answering them on our Monday magical meetings, which is going to be amazing. Another aspect to it, right? He's got a barking problem. He is a rescue, and he was previously abused, and he's got some issues. So you don't really want to yell at him too hard, because his response to that is not good, but we're working with them, right? That's all you can do. So yes, very welcome. I'm so happy that hopefully that gave you a lot of information. Eleni, yes, I'm super excited. I saw that you are in the Sister Circle. Super excited about that. So the last few minutes I want to take and just go over the information of the Sister Circle membership. The doors, again, were open this week for new members. This is the first time that it's been open in almost a year. They will close at 10 p.m. Central Standard Time this evening, May 15th, and then they will remain closed for a probably good period of time once again. This allows the group to remain at an aspect where we continue to have a great community, where we build relationships with each other, right? This amazing, beautiful community of women. that we can support each other and actually build relationships and help guide and get to know and understand kind of each other's path. Again, it is no belief system, no religious aspect that is in there, taught in there, but all belief systems and religions are welcomed in there, right? We are all completely tolerant of each other's belief system. And I will always try and give information that I have available, or send you to someone that I know that has the available information if you have a question specific to a specific maybe Wiccan tradition or something like that. I have the resources to be able to send you to somebody that can answer those questions on a higher level for you as well. So what do we do in the membership? We're going to have so much fun, ladies. So on the first of the month, every month on the first of the month, you get your new calendar for the month of your daily magical kind of things. We do a live at whatever time it is. We do a live on the first that goes over the moons of the month. So what is the energy of the month? Channeled from spirit. What is the energy of the month? What is the significance and the time and dates of the new moon and the full moon that month? Are there any other Sabbats or special days that may need to be recognized in that month? And then we do a meditation, which also includes an energetic healing for everybody. And again, that is whether you listen to it live or whether you watch the replay, which that stays up. It stays in there indefinitely. It just goes into the membership area. So you can always go back and see previous months, everything, right? So what that is a nothing that you have to do, right? We just kind of go on a meditation journey that I take you. It takes like 10-15 minutes. And during that time, I raise the entire vibration of everyone, which allows us to bring and drop away a lot of the blockages and obstacles that we carry and face. So that happens on the first of the month, every month. The following week, you have a class that uploads regarding witchcraft basics and fundamentals, right? And practicality. So what is it and how do you use it in everyday life? Like, let's make this easy, right? Let's kiss it. Let's keep it simple, sister, right? And inexpensive the majority of the time. So that happens on the following week. And then the next week you have a class on one oil, one herb, one crystal, so that you can get used to different ingredients. And then we'll move into tools as well, optional tools, of course. And then the following week, your class is going to be on intuition and connection with your psychic gifts, third eye, the woo-woo aspect of it. If there's a fifth week in that month, the members will do a live free reading, channeled readings for you guys in there, for the sisters in there. And then on the full moon and the new moon, we have gatherings at 7 p.m. my time, Central Time, which is a Q&A session for the two classes that would have come out in between those times, as well as a candle lighting and casting that happens for the entire circle as well. You are also included in the other community casts on the full moon and the new moon, just for being in the membership too. So that is the basics. That's the backbone of what's in there. But again, you have the community. You have the ability to have questions answered at any time because I am consistently in that group. I tend to throw other things up in that group all the time as well, as for downloads and PDFs and little read-only classes and things like that. That'll only take you a few minutes to go through. So that is the backbone of what's in the Sister Circle membership. I'm hoping that there were a couple people that got a hold of me last time the doors closed and said, oh my gosh, when are they going to open again? They're only open for a short period of time. So make sure that you get in there if you're thinking about it. The price that it is monthly. You can cancel it at any time if you choose that, like, nope, this just isn't for me. I don't know why you would, because we're amazing in there. But it is monthly. And when the doors close, this will be the last time that it's ever at this price. Whatever you get into it in, that's your price. It'll never go up on you. But I can tell you when I open the doors again next time, that will be at an increased price. So that's what it's all about. So we're going to learn witchcraft. We're going to learn woo-woo. We're going to learn how to clear ourselves. We're going to learn how to talk to spirits. We're going to learn all kinds of amazing stuff. So I'm hoping that if you're interested in that, you get in before the doors close at 10 p.m. This evening. And if you haven't watched the other videos from the Witchcraft and Woo Woo Week here, make sure that you get those looked at, because those will go into the membership area only sometime tomorrow afternoon or late evening. So get in there and do that as well. So I kept it, look at that, under an hour on time all this week. We are rocking it, right? So with that, if there are any other questions, make sure you let me know. I'll wait for just a minute. If you're catching the replay, make sure you give me a hashtag replay or a replay in the comments so that I know that you saw this. Again, I'm sorry about the barking that happened. All right, perfect. So for those that are in the membership already, I will see you in there. Otherwise, I will see you all on Monday morning in the Witches Living a Magical Life group for our Monday magical meeting at 11 a.m. Central Time. Have a wonderfully magical rest of your day.